Hey guys, welcome to the All Around Joe podcast. We optimize your human performance from my personal experience as an athlete, coach, and all-around self-improvement junkie. On this edition of the All Around Joe podcast, I am coming to you from the KOA in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. As you can see here, if you're watching the video as I'm doing this selfie stick style on the GoPro, but you can watch it or listen to it. Both ways will work just fine. This podcast is all about how low should you go when you're doing dumbbell workouts specifically, because dumbbells, because of how they're set up, are going to be pushing you a little bit lower down to the ground. So I want to talk about that a little bit as we go. Also, I am doing this without a mic. So the only mic that I'm using is on the GoPro itself. And I'm going to try and edit out the traffic noise and see how that works. So if it sounds terrible, I'm really sorry about that. Actually, if it sounds too bad, then I will probably just scrap this one and you won't even get to see it or hear it. But hopefully it works for us. Before we get started, today's podcast is brought to you by the Get Better Project, my online at-home training program that involves little to no equipment for the first levels, dumbbells or kettlebell only for the third level, and then full gym for the fourth and the fifth level. So you can come into the program without any equipment and it will be perfect for where you're at. Not only that, if there's any modifications that you need at all, I'm here to help you out with those modifications. That's the beauty of the Get Better Project, is that we're trying to be all inclusive for people that are looking for a program that will help them to get more fit, look better, feel better, and just, live a more energetic lifestyle. That's what the Get Better Project is all about and who it is for. We have people all the way up from 68 years of age, actually 72 years of age, all the way down to, I think, 27 or 28. So all over the board. And we even have some, accessory programs for people that want to run marathons and or people that want to do bodybuilding type stuff. So functional bodybuilding, get bigger muscles, looking better on the beach type of thing. But let's get back into this podcast today where we're talking about how low should you go with dumbbell training. So I'm going to set up the scenario here where the dumbbells, for the most part, in relationship or in comparison to a barbell, you're going to be lower down to the ground. What I found is when working with a lot of people over the last few years is that the dumbbells pull you into a position where your back tends to round because you don't have the flexibility. So I'm going to talk about how we can decrease that and what you should be thinking about while you're doing these particular movements. We're going to start off with anything that is coming from the floor first. And this could be if you're picking a dumbbell up off of the floor to do some other exercise, like a shoulder to overhead or even a bench press or something like that. Or if you're actually going back to the floor every single time for something like a deadlift or a clean or a snatch, or something with that hip hinge pulling style of movement. So let's get into this. The first thing I want you to think about is maybe you should be videotaping yourself as you do this. I know that I found it with my own video experience in a way that I thought that I should be taking more account to it. So let's set this guy up. All right, as you can see here, we're working with dumbbells. I've got my slippers on. I call them my workout slippers, and we're standing pretty much on a fire pit. So I hope this works for you, and we'll see how the sound comes out as well. We have the dumbbells here, and what you got to consider, right, is the dumbbells at the handles are much lower to the ground than if you, say, had a barbell. Maybe even, 6 inches or so. I haven't measured it, so I'm just throwing that one out there. But what you have to consider is if you take a look from the back, so as I come down, you should hinge at the hips. You should bend at the knees once your back cannot stay flat. So you're bending knees, bending knees, bending knees. And then you imagine this if you're listening. So you bend all the way down and you get to this point where you can grab the dumbbells and you pull your back nice and flat. Then you're going to have to kind of squat out into this position where you get to where you would actually be doing a normal deadlift. And then you pull the dumbbells up off of the ground. And then you come back down to that position. And then what do you do here? A lot of times what people are going to do is they're going to round their back to get down to the ground. I know that I'll find myself, unfortunately, getting in that position. I have to remind myself to really bend the knees in order to keep my back flat as I need to get down all the way to the ground. So what I'm going to recommend for a lot of people is to actually just go ahead and touch the one end of the dumbbell down to the ground and then come back up. So you're only going to get that one end of the dumbbell, and you're still bending your knees as much as you have to in order to keep that back nice and flat. The other thing that I would recommend is either setting up a platform or just telling yourself you're only going to go down as low as that back stays flat. So you're going to have to just video yourself real quick, or take a picture, have someone else take a picture, or give you feedback how low you should go. And what that would look like is you go down this low, keeping the back flat to pick up the dumbbell off of the ground. And then the next time you maybe only go to here and then come back up. So that might be what your movement pattern, depending on what you're doing, looks like. And what that means is that if you're listening to this, I'm only going down to about halfway down my shin in order to keep my back flat. And everybody's going to be a little bit different. It might only be that you get down to your knees and that's where your back flat position is. It could be that you're very flexible and you can actually go all the way down, keeping that back flat and still having a hip hinge hamstring activation going on there. So I don't want a deadlift, for example, to turn into a squat where you're going all the way down and you're actually squatting more than you're deadlifting, unless it is programmed specifically to do that. So just hinge yourself down to that position where your back starts to round, where it turns into more of a knee bend than it is a deadlift, or more of a knee bend squat than it is a deadlift, because we want to mostly stick with the deadlift position or the hip hinging for the cleans, deadlifts, snatches, and all of that stuff. So if you're doing like a double dumbbell snatch, which we tend to program the Get Better Project a lot, as you're going down, you're going to start off right from here, and then as you're going down, you might actually go to just right to there, mid shin, and have it be more of a swing than it is going to be going all the way down to the ground there, because you notice that your back doesn't stay as flat as it should. So the most important thing is that you're trying to keep a flat back / neutral spine for those positions, because it's going to be much better for keeping your back healthy, because you probably don't even notice. I know that I've videoed myself several times and not even notice that my back is slightly rounding as I get into these positions, as I'm moving faster, and I don't want that to happen. So you either have to hold yourself accountable, have someone else hold yourself accountable by videoing or taking pictures or having somebody give you cues for those exact positions. And it will make, like I said, you will be in a much healthier, safer space if you do that. So number one, see if you can, just squat the dumbbells up off the ground. Number two, try tapping one end of the dumbbell onto the ground instead of two, and see if you can hold your back in a flat position for that. And if you still can't, then number three, you're going to have to video yourself or get feedback from somebody to figure out exactly how low you should be going with the dumbbell, keeping a neutral spine or flat back position before that back tends to round, because we don't want to put that rounded back under load a lot of times, because that could be setting ourselves up for injury. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you have any questions about that, or if you actually would like a video review, go ahead and join the Get Better Project, and we do video review for all of our athletes, where you can send us a video of what you've been doing, and we can give you tips and tell you exactly where, for example, on a workout like this, we would have you stop in all of those positions so that you will be in a safe position when you're doing these particular movements. Like I said, if you could set up like a couple boxes on your sides, because you might think to your front, and that it depends on kind of the movement that you're doing, but so you have something that you're going down and setting the dumbbells onto, that can be super helpful. But you also don't need to do that, because I understand that can be more complicated. I personally don't have anything that would work really great for that myself. So I am one of those people that I don't want to go all the way down to double end dumbbell touching unless it's a standard for a particular movement. So what I would do personally is go down and touch the one end of the dumbbells, and still have to be very conscious of probably overbending my knees more than I think that I am going to need to or want to for the particular movements that I'm doing. But it's going to keep my back in a safer position. If my back is flatter, then what's going to happen is my hamstrings or glutes are going to be able to do their job more effectively, and my core is going to stay in that neutral spine position. So you're safer, but then you also get more benefits of the hamstrings and glutes doing what you want them to do as well. So there's a ton of different things that are going into this being positive for you. So like I said, if you guys have any questions, let me know. You can join 2 free weeks of the Get Better Project, have me do video reviews for you if you would like me to do that for you. I'm happy to do it. Just head over to thegetbetterproject.com/2 weeks. That's the number 2 weeks. That's they'llgetbetterproject.com/2 weeks. And we'll get you hooked up with the full program, but you can do video reviews, nutritional analysis and setup, and all that fun stuff that would be beneficial for you. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube that you give me the thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe, because we're trying to get these subscribers up and do more of these videos, and we're trying to do these videos every single week now. And if you're listening to this, we appreciate you listening, and check out YouTube if you felt like you needed to watch what I was doing, because I feel like the YouTube platform is excellent for being able to let me explain what I'm trying to get across. But the audio is also beneficial, and I'm trying to explain this as well as I possibly can so that you guys can listen to it and get something out of it as well without having the video, if you're the type of person that likes to listen to this in the car or whatever it may be. So if you're listening to this on audio, we also always appreciate the reviews. All the 5-star reviews that we get help us to get our podcast out to more people, and we really appreciate you for doing that. And I'm always here to answer questions if anybody has them. Just shoot me an email at joe@allaroundjoe.com, and or whatever platform that you're at. So there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoy this. First podcast coming to you from Steamboat Springs in Colorado, where we're going to be for the next month. So you'll probably see more of this, but this might be the only sunny day that you see us filming at, because it's supposed to start getting a bunch of snow. Yeah. All right, there you have it. The All Around Joe podcast, where we optimize your human performance, my personal experience as an athlete, coach, and all-around self-improvement junkie. I will see you on the next podcast.